Ever been told you're too quiet? That you should speak louder, smile more, be more fun? Maybe you've even started to believe that silence means weakness. But what if I told you your silence is your power? See, introverts don't need to announce their presence. They command it without a word. And today, we're going to break the myth. Because the power of introverts? It's real, it's rare, and most people don't even see it coming. Part 1. Quiet doesn't mean weak. Let's start with the most common lie. If you're quiet, you must be weak. Wrong. Introverts don't talk unless there's something worth saying. They're not afraid to speak. They just know that not everything needs a response. And in a world that constantly talks, silence, it's intimidating. You ever notice how people start to fidget when someone's quiet in a room? That's because they can't read you. They don't know what you're thinking, and that unsettles them. But here's the truth. That quiet energy, it's not lack, it's control. You're not out here wasting words, chasing clout, or trying to prove a point. You already know your worth, and you don't need to announce it. That's not weakness. That's power disguised as calm. Part 2. They protect their energy like gold. Introverts get labeled as antisocial, but they're not. They're just selective. You ever try holding a deep convo at a party with blaring music and 5 different people yelling over each other? Exactly. Introverts aren't built for chaos, they're built for connection. Crowded rooms, small talk, constant noise, it drains them. But a one-on-one convo about life, dreams, purpose, that's where they thrive. They protect their energy like gold because it is gold. And here's the thing, when you protect your energy, you protect your peace. You stop showing up to everything just to be seen. You start showing up only where it feels right. That's not avoidance, that's alignment. Part 3. Deep, not wide. Most people chase numbers, more friends, more followers, more attention. Introverts? They chase depth. They don't want 10,000 people clapping for them. They want one person who gets them. They're not the type to dominate the group chat. But they will remember that one thing you said 6 months ago and check in about it today. They'll remember your birthday, your coffee order, your favorite quote because they listen. They see people in ways others don't. And in a world that's obsessed with being heard, being the one who actually listens, that's rare, that's powerful, that's unforgettable. Part 4. Focus is their flex. While everyone else is busy showing off, introverts are zoning in. Laser focus. No distractions, no drama. Just pure, intentional effort. You ever wonder how some people quietly rise? Building something no one saw coming? That's usually an introvert. They're not loud, they're locked in. They don't need validation from the crowd. They're too busy mastering their craft, turning ideas into action behind the scenes. Because while extroverts might rule the spotlight, introverts rule the foundation. And the truth is, the spotlight doesn't last. But the foundation? That's what holds everything up. Part 5. Calm under pressure. When things go wrong and they will watch who stays calm, the one who's not yelling, not panicking, not spiraling, just breathing, thinking, moving. That's an introvert, because they've practiced being still. They've sat with their thoughts. They've navigated anxiety, doubt, fear internally without making it a show. They've learned to self-soothe. They don't explode, they process. And that calm, it's not fake. It's the result of 100 nights they spent thinking things through while everyone else was just reacting. That's leadership energy. That's mental strength. That's power that doesn't need to be loud to be felt. Part 6. Their mind is their powerhouse. Introverts live up here points to head. Their imagination is wild. Their thoughts run deep. They spend hours inside their own mind, analyzing, planning, creating. That might look like zoning out to some people. But really? They're building worlds, problem solving, innovating. They're the ones who write the novels, design the systems, start the companies not by being loud, but by thinking differently. Quiet on the outside, genius on the inside. So if you're someone who overthinks a lot, maybe stop calling it overthinking. Start calling it deep processing. Because you're not broken. You're just wired to go deep. Use that. Part 7. They're unshakably themselves. Here's the wildest part about introverts. They don't need the crowd. They're not chasing approval. They're not adjusting themselves to fit in. They're not performing. They just are. They're not going to fake it to make it. They'll walk away from a room that doesn't feel right. They'll choose solitude over fake connection. And that kind of self-trust, that's rare. because most people are just trying to belong. Introverts already do with themselves. And when you're rooted in who you are, the world can try to shake you, but you won't move. Part 9, Mastering the Pause. Introverts are masters of the pause. Before they react, they pause. Before they commit, they pause. Before they speak, they think. That pause, it's not hesitation, it's calculation. They're not slow, they're deliberate. You ever wish you didn't send that angry text or say something in the heat of the moment? Introverts dodge that bullet not because they don't feel emotions, but because they sit with them. They've trained themselves to respond, not react, to think things through, to stay calm when others lose it. And in a world addicted to speed, that kind of slowness, it's not a weakness, it's wisdom. Part 10. They win in the long game. Look, the world celebrates fast talkers, big personalities, the loudest voice in the room. But what they forget? The quiet ones are watching, learning, strategizing, building. Introverts don't need instant applause. They don't crave overnight success. They play the long game. They're the ones who seem invisible now. But years later, they're leading quietly, creating powerfully, living intentionally. Because they didn't burn out trying to impress. They leveled up while everyone else was busy talking. They took the longer road, the quieter road, but it led somewhere real. Final words: quiet is not the absence of power. So if you've ever felt small because you're quiet, if you've ever been underestimated, talked over, or dismissed, here's your reminder. Your silence is not empty. It's full of thought, depth, and strength. Being introverted is not something to fix. It's something to own. Because while others speak to be heard, you wait until it matters. And when you speak, the room listens. So stop trying to get louder. Start standing taller in your quiet. Because your power isn't missing. It's just silent. And that's the kind of strength they'll never see coming. If this spoke to you, if you've ever felt like your quiet nature was a disadvantage, let this be your reminder. It's actually your superpower. You don't need to change who you are to thrive. You just need to own it. Now I want to hear from you. Do you consider yourself an introvert or an ambivert? What's the biggest misconception people have about quiet people? Drop it in the comments, I read every single one. And if you felt seen by this video, if you want more content that actually gets you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Because this channel, it's for people who think deeply, feel deeply, and are done pretending to be loud just to fit in. So don't forget to like, share this with a fellow introvert, and remember, your quiet is not your weakness. It's your unfair advantage. Stay grounded, stay powerful, and I'll see you in the next one.